In a certain sense, I kind of did quit. I remember like about 1 year just trying a lot of things and it kind of didn't work. Putting in effort, not seeing results, that was quite demotivating for me. I remember on my first order that it was like $8,000 or whatever, and I was really nervous to transfer that money. Like that felt so uncomfortable. Where a few years later, we were transferring like $80,000 for a reorder from a coffee shop while on a holiday.
Welcome to another episode of Seller Stories. My name is Michael Jordan, and in this episode, I talked to Tom Hughes. Now, Tom has been in the Amazon game selling and involved for over 10 years. So Tom is one of the OGs. In this episode, we go through Tom's history, what he's struggling with, what he does well, and what he is currently doing and looking forward to do. So sit back, relax, take some notes, and let's get into it. All right, welcome to this episode of Seller Stories. I've got Tom Hughes here. Tom is an Amazon entrepreneur with a very interesting background, and I'll not steal the story from you, Tom, but tell everybody kind of your background and how you got into this.
Yeah, so I've been trying to make money online for quite a while, since I think 2010. Like I have a background in law. I studied law school in the Netherlands. And after that, I went on a holiday to Bali, Indonesia, and I kind of never went back. And then I had to figure out how to make money. So I tried like niche sites, affiliate marketing, and some things made money, but nothing like spectacular. And then a friend of mine, he was trying Amazon. So there was another guy in Bali who needed to fund his first order, and or like a reorder or something like that. So he said like, I'll just teach 10 people at $1,500 how to make money on Amazon, and that all fund my order. My friend was one of those guys, and he kind of taught me about this, and I got very interested. And Amazon was really kind of the first thing that really took off, like that took it from like a couple of thousand per month to like decent revenue, decent income.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in 2016. So started selling in 2016 first. A long time of product research, like hesitant to pull the trigger. Went to the Canton Fair twice. And then I remember at one point I found a product that I really had this feeling with, like, okay, this one really stands out. Went forward with that one, and yeah, the first years went pretty well. Like there was no competition. I had a better product, which I charged significantly more for. Yeah, and then launching more products. Then it became a bit more challenging. Like I made a few bad picks with products, so they didn't do well. Fell in love a bit too much with the brand, so I really had a hard time to cut products and just look at the data. It felt like a baby too, like it's in was in sports and outdoors, and I'm really into sports and whatever. So I really had like a personal affinity with it as well. And then in 2020, like a software business opportunity came along, which went well pretty quickly, and that kind of took over my focus at that point. And since then, the Amazon business slowly has been declining, mostly due to lack of attention from me, but also competition increasing. Like when the first years, there was basically no competition. Like my niche was small enough to not be interesting to not appear on the radar of like these tools like Jungle Scout and whatever. But that changed over time, and I noticed that there were many sellers offering better products than mine at a much lower price, to be honest. So downhill battle from there.
Yeah, man, cutting products is so tough. I just did this last week actually. And you feel like you're killing your baby, you know?
Yeah.
But if you look at the data and the LTV of that customer and that product, and you just have to make a data-driven decision. But I literally just did this last week, and we like battled over it with my partner, and like whether should we or should we not. So I know very well how tough that is.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah.
you like to sell like higher end premium products that you charge more than everybody else, or are you like in line with everybody else?
No, that was the strategy.
Yeah.
except that the products were not that high end, to be honest. Like
Mm.
the main product was just really bad. Like I could see there was a demand for it, like a lot of reviews, and the product was like terrible. So I kind of just made a decent product, but it was priced at a premium price.
Yeah.
Did better branding, like nice packaging, like logo, hire professional models instead of
Hmm.
sister or girlfriend or whatever. And yeah, that was the way to go, which I really think is the best way to go on Amazon, because like I've seen it with some friends that do a lot of volume with like very generic products with not that much margin. And I remember with COVID that like as soon as margins decrease, you kind of lose your margin pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I chose that route. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you launching new products right now or soon? And you're still going that
No,
route?
no, no. Uh, I have some ready to go, but like those are yeah, long story. Like they're pretty big.
Yeah.
It's I need to figure out if I need to move forward with it or not, because like the ones I launched that are similar before that are actually not doing that well, and like the
Mm.
fees are pretty high. So I kind of need to figure out if it's even worth the effort at this point. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all product selection in my point though. Like I did not the best job in product selection. Like product with a lifetime warranty, people, which is great from a quality point of view, but like people only buy it once, which is not that great in that
Yeah.
way. So definitely, if I would have picked different products, it would have been a different story, I think. Yeah. So that's also
Yeah.
why
It's
sometimes I wonder, like, do I even want to continue with this brand, or possibly just start from scratch?
mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I like to differentiate when by like offering bulk items. So like for dog treats, for example, a lot of people for one of my main products were offering like 8 ounce or so like half pound and 1 pound bags. And I come in with a
Mhm.
5 pound like bulk option.
Mm,
And that's a really good way to not like fight or get into like a price war or like have
mm,
slim margins. So like my volume is less, but my margins are larger, and I don't have to compete with
mm,
everybody else. So um, that's why I love the like consumable
mm.
niche, right? So like beauty, hair care,
Mm.
food, grocery, supplements, stuff like that. So
Do you
um,
exclusively go into consumables, or is that a criteria for you? Or
for me, it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Because my very first brand was in the home and kitchen space, and it was
Hmm.
glass food storage containers, and like they last forever, right? Maybe you
Yeah,
drop one and break it, but
yeah.
otherwise they last forever. And we would have people come back and buy maybe for like a gift for
Mm,
somebody if they liked them, but otherwise, like it was so competitive because
mm,
anybody can make that, and it showed up on all the tools like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout and everything. So
mm,
it was a very saturated space, and yeah, I launched a pet treat brand, and I was like, wow, people like buy this
yeah.
multiple times or they subscribe. Like, what is this subscription revenue? This is awesome. So
Yeah,
that was, 5, 6 years ago, and ever since I typically only launch products that can be consumed or subscribed to.
yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I did that too.
Yeah, well, hey, there's some food
Yeah,
for
there
thought
is
for you. Yeah,
for
but
sure.
because then you can break
Um,
even on the first
yeah,
purchase, right? To get that
yeah.
customer, that new client. So, um, looking back on your Amazon career so far, what was like one misconception that you had that didn't turn out to be true, whether good or bad?
Honestly, not that many. Well, it's not necessarily a misconception, but what really stood out for me is how the notion of financials changes. Like I remember on my first order that I was like, it was like $8,000 or whatever, and I was really nervous to transfer that money. Like
Mhm.
that felt so uncomfortable. Where a few years later, we were transferring like $80,000 for a reorder from a coffee shop while on a holiday. And I
Yeah.
like a few years before that, I could not have figured that. But for the rest, it's all pretty much been as I expected, really. Like it's yeah, maybe a
Yeah.
bit more setbacks than like didn't expect that customer support could be. I thought Seller Central customer support might have been better. That
Hmm.
also could have been one, but no, in general, not really big misconceptions.
Yeah. It's pretty I mean, what you see is what you get, right? There's obviously
Yeah,
all kinds of issues and problems that you deal with, but you deal with that in any business,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
e-commerce or real estate or whatever. But
yeah.
one for me was I thought I would make way more money faster, I think, but
Mm,
the faster your brand grows, like you mentioned, you have to start putting out more and more money for
mm,
inventory. So until you hit a certain inflection point, you really have to put like all your money back into it if you want to grow.
yeah,
So, um,
yeah.
have you had any expensive lessons that you would like to stop somebody else from mistakes from making? For me, example, I did not get a pre-shipment inspection, and that turned out to be
Okay.
a very bad choice, like a $80,000 mistake on some of my
Mm,
a full 40-foot high cube of these glass food storage containers that
mm.
all came broken. So that's the one I always share with
Yeah,
everybody.
that's painful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, for me, it would be out of stock mostly. Like I've been out of
Mm,
stock during one holiday season, and that was just so painful. And also hearing my friends talk about how much their sales would increase and missing out on that. And that was just like yeah, not ordering on time, like just putting it off. And also with cash flow, like I also had like a problem to finance the order at that point. Yeah, and otherwise, long-term storage fee also cost me quite a bit. Yeah,
mm,
it's that mostly from the products that weren't doing well, and then I just didn't pay attention to them anymore. And when I look at the data, I was like, oh man, that's actually really hurting how much we're paying in storage fees.
yeah.
So yeah,
So what do you do when you find that you just try to liquidate, or do you do a removal order or what?
with those, I lowered the price considerably, and that
Yeah.
that did get them to sell. But I'm
Hmm.
actually in a situation now where I'm considering to close down Europe. Like, but the problem is I have quite a lot of stock in Europe still.
Hmm.
So then, like we're doing the calculations, like does it make sense to pay for liquidation, which I never done before,
Hmm.
or to sell through it? But yeah, yeah. On that note, actually, I forgot about that. But Europe was not good for me. Like Europe was, and that's probably also due to lack of attention. Like I didn't
Hmm.
spend the time on it as I should. Like I just figured like open up another marketplace, modify it a little bit, and it'll mostly run on autopilot. But there's been a lot of KYC stuff with Europe and like
Yeah.
regulation and whatever. So that's
Yeah,
yeah,
all of the extra administrative burden from expanding to another country, it's like a full-time job,
yeah,
right? So
surprising. Yeah.
a lot of times I tell people like there's wholesalers in these countries that will buy from US companies and
Mm,
sell it on Amazon for you, but they pay you up front a wholesale fee. So a lot of times I tell people that's how to expand
yeah.
and until you
Smart.
get large enough and like
Mm,
official enough, right? To actually hire somebody to manage that um, other marketplace. I just sell to a wholesaler and let them sell in their
smart.
country. I found that, done that a couple times and it's worked really well.
Mm, yeah, good one.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, hit a wall with Amazon because of all these issues we're talking about, right? Have you been to that kind of tipping point where you want to get out of it completely and talk to me about why you didn't quit?
Yeah, so in a certain sense, I kind of did quit. Like it's that wall for me was more in the form of another opportunity,
Mm,
which came up. But from the perspective of just selling on Amazon, I guess it was when growth turned stagnant. Like that was
hmm
quite demotivating. I remember like about 1 year just trying a lot of things, and it kind of didn't work. In hindsight, it was also because I didn't cut products. Like I should have cut some products that I was just not willing to cut because I thought I could make them work. And in the end, I spent too much time on it. But
Yeah.
so if you take a step back, it's really not seeing results. Like putting in effort, not seeing results. That was quite demotivating for me.
hmm
And at that point, the other opportunity came up, which kind of led me to not pay that much time on Amazon business anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk about this other opportunity in just a minute, but I want to dig in more to the cutting products because that's something that
Mm,
nobody talks about, right? Everybody online is just like launch more products, make more money, right? But like the operation side and like cutting products is really important. Again, I just went
mm.
through it. So, well, how do you know like when to cut a product? What do you look for?
I honestly did not look that much at the data. It was just like knowing that the product was just not doing what I expected it would do.
hmm
And for me, it was a lot of sunk cost fallacy. Like I put a lot of effort in the product, and I generally thought it was my best product. Like from like my perspective, this product is better than the one that's selling more. So therefore, this one should do better
Yeah.
than the other one. But that was not the case. And I honestly never really figured out why not, because like it's, I'm 90% sure it's due to me not promoting it well enough or not getting it where it should have been.
hmm
Pricing, probably. But like, yeah, the problem for me cutting it was really personally kind of being proud of the product. Like this was the best one we've created, so we had to make it work.
Yeah.
And then when we like after 6 months trying to get it to run and it didn't, yeah, then at one point you kind of know that it's a loser. And
Yeah.
so without specifically looking at like specific data, it's
hmm
that was for me the process.
Yeah. Man, I have one of those and I still tell people about it. I'm like, that product should be doing, 10 million a year, but it was like a shampoo and conditioner.
Mm,
And it was my best product ever. I still think that. And like it just did not sell for some reason. I
and how
couldn't
did you
rank
decide to
it.
cut it?
Yeah,
What
so
was?
that's a case of where just like the whole brand and product line isn't working. But
Mm,
the one that I cut last week, like is selling and does well, but the cash that it takes isn't worth the opportunity cost, right? I can
mm,
put that cash into more ads on my main product or even launching another product or something. So that they were kind of two different scenarios, but yeah, I've launched my best product ever and it just flopped
mm.
for some reason.
It's funny,
So
like talking about it now, like I think for me it's really also like a bit of an ego thing. Like that I kind of don't want to admit that what I figured would do well would not do well, which
yeah.
makes it harder to because kind of you're admitting like, okay, I thought this would do well, so I was wrong.
Mm.
Which while just talking about it now, I think also played a pretty big role in not pulling the trigger earlier on just making decisions based on data.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's tough, man. You put so much time and
yeah,
effort into this
yeah.
thing, and then the outcome is really good. The end product is great. Like this is
Mm,
my golden ticket. It's the
yeah.
one, and then it
People just not buying it.
flops. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, for some reason, the market just doesn't accept some products, and
Mm,
like I've seen this multiple times, not only with my brands, but client brands at Bad. Like it can be the best product ever, and I
mm,
don't know, there's just something that it doesn't work out. You can use all
mm.
the hacks and tricks and tactics you want, and it just doesn't. So I think like knowing when to identify that and when to move on is
Yeah,
a very hard earned skill of
yeah,
entrepreneurs.
yeah. Moving fast for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I would have done that more in the beginning for
Yeah.
sure. It's,
So what is this you mentioned something else that you got into
yeah,
that kind of
so
took you away from Amazon for a bit.
I'm afraid I can't really talk about it, but it's basically a software business.
Hmm.
Like for me, it just ticks more boxes. Like I'm a hobby developer myself. Like I'm like typically, if I don't like doing something, I try to automate it. And yeah, I just noticed that with software, a lot of the problems that you have with Amazon, like inventory management, cash flow, whatever, was not the problem. So that shifted away my focus, which I honestly also felt bad about at one point though. Like I really, because I wasn't spending time on Amazon business, and then I was like, man, like a few years ago, I would have killed to have like an Amazon business like this, and now I'm not even spending time on it. So I kind of felt bad about that. But uh, but yeah, so that was a turning point. Yeah,
So do you are you a big AI fan?
yeah, and
Yeah.
I am for sure. But I'm also trying to, like, I know for myself that I get distracted by new shiny stuff very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think AI is not a new shiny thing. I think it's worth learning. But the problem is, I always think, think that of every shiny thing. But yeah,
Well, if
no, I think it's going to
yeah.
be the game changer for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
if you want some validation from I think AI is here to stay, but hey, you know,
mm,
I have shiny object syndrome frequently as well, but I
yeah.
really do think it's here to stay. What tools are you using or excited about right now?
At the moment, I just throw, because the time that it takes is mostly writing a prompt, and then I just throw it in all models to see what comes out with the best result. And for me,
Hmm.
so far, it's Claude. I'm trying to force myself to play with AI like 30 minutes per day, just to do
Yeah.
some kind of, like, also on like a coding point of view, just to learn what is possible, get more experience with it. I haven't built anything really useful. I implemented a lot of small stuff. So for example, if the team enters data in a Google Sheet, if there's something wrong with that, like a space wrong or whatever, like typically the code would crash. Like, and now I just run it through AI, like, hey, extract the
Hmm.
date from this cell. So it's useful for that. But for more complex systems, I haven't built anything yet. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
What about
the
you?
buzz like the buzz right now are these agents that everybody's talking about, right? Like you have an agent for this and that. So
Mm,
I'm playing with that, but even just like ChatGPT and Claude,
mm,
we'll do some stuff like you can upload your search term report to
mm,
ChatGPT and just ask it questions, and it comes back with some very good
yeah.
recommendations for optimizations and expansion and stuff. So if you haven't tried
Yeah.
that yet, I would suggest it. It's like impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and is it consistent? Like is it always impressive, or is it usually impressive and sometimes you just get something that
I
doesn't make sense back?
yeah, so both. I think like a beginner, right? Couldn't just throw it in there and like follow it step by step. But if
Yeah.
you know, at least a little bit about running ads, you can throw it in there and ask it
Mm,
questions, and you can kind of pick and decipher, and you'll be like, wow, I didn't even think of that, but that's like a great
mm,
idea, right? But if you had no knowledge or experience at all, it'd be hard to like
mm.
call those out. So it's not quite all knowing yet, where you can just trust it.
And how is the playing around with agents working out? Like, are you liking it or?
Um, I don't know. It's so ChatGPT just released their their plus. I can't remember what they call it, but it's 200 a month and you can build like
Yeah.
special agents and they can even automate and do recurring tasks and stuff. And then I've played with Sora some, their video
Mm.
generator, which is actually crazy. But it's not super helpful yet until we can like put like a 3D render of our product and then say
Mm.
use this 3D render and create whatever video or background or whatever. So I think
It
we're 6 months away from it, but
mm,
it's gonna be here. Or
makes it so much easier to start a business, right?
it
Like
does.
when we started, it was already so much easier. Like I remember a friend of mine, he used to sell shoes from China. And he said like I had to go to China and
Hmm.
just go to a bar and then ask people if they know people who manufacture shoes to find factories. And now we just have like all these online directories that we can just
Yeah.
we don't even have to go to China at all anymore. And with
I've
AI,
actually
it's
never been to the Canton
okay.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody
it's,
tells me I should just just to go, but you've been what, you said twice?
yeah, three times, and
3 times?
it's fun. Like it's mostly connecting with sellers, though. Like
Really?
the for me, like at the Canton Fair. I haven't found any products there. It's mostly staying in touch with vendors just to build a
Hmm.
relationship. Um, no, I don't think I've ordered a product that I found at the Canton Fair, but it
Wow.
was fun. It was great fun for sure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What about Yiwu? Have you been to that one?
no, no, I
No.
haven't. No.
Yeah. I'll make it over to Canton at some point, but yeah,
Hmm.
if not just to visit some of my manufacturers though.
That is what I found really interesting, just to see how it gets manufactured and to
Yeah.
also understand a little bit more like production problems, for example. Like if you mention
Hmm.
something, if I've been to the factory, I can see it. It's just easier to understand because it's for me it was quickly that I was like, yeah, why? Like you would be able to solve that. But and also the culture uh, to get to know them personally, the vendors for me was also yeah quite important. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest pros to it, I think. On one of my brands, one of my business partners on that brand did go over to China to our factory, and he
Hmm.
just built a relationship. And I mean, it was like white glove service from then on, just because they know you. You actually spent the time
Yeah,
to visit and have
yeah,
dinner with them and walk the factory. So I think that's
yeah,
a huge benefit of actually visiting your manufacturer.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, what's up next for Tom? What are you working on?
The software business mostly,
Hmm.
but I want to try to blow some life in the Amazon business again. Like
Yeah.
I've because of the software business, I've really lost touch with actually selling on Amazon. So I'm joining communities a bit more to just get like infected by the energy in these
Yeah.
communities to get some of that fire back again. Yeah, so at one hand, I tell myself not to split focus. That's like the downfall. But yeah, I do want to give this Amazon business another go to, and otherwise just cut it because otherwise it's just sitting there being in the back of my head, like not feeling great
Mm.
about not doing anything about it. But I also don't want to because what you mentioned, like it feels like your baby, right?
Yeah.
If it's an exit, then at least it it kind of had like a successful progression in that way. But if you just
Yeah.
let it die, it just feels wrong. So
It is
uh,
an ego thing too, and it's hard
yeah.
to like admit to our not even everybody else, just ourself that like, man,
Mm.
I couldn't make this work. So like I get that 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, what is we'll wrap up here, and I like to end on this question. What's like one tip that you would give people who are thinking to get an Amazon or just a younger seller?
move fast, like really move fast. Take action, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Today, I'm still struggling with that in many aspects in life, but like, yeah, like what I really need to improve at this moment still is moving faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking action, because that means that you'll get feedback as well. What I've noticed a lot is that I spend quite a lot of time on something only to find out that that's not the way to go, but you've already lost that time that you spent on it. So yeah, just like moving fast is the main thing.
Very, very good tip. I think failing fast is
Yeah.
to sum it up, right? And like not being scared
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
or holding on to products too long.
yeah. No,
So
failing fast for sure. It's just I
yeah,
don't like saying failing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so no, for sure. That's a better way to put it. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Tom, and thank you
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, that is it for this episode of Seller Stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and check out some of my other videos where I walk you through exactly how to launch a brand on Amazon and scale your Amazon brand. If you would like further coaching or advice or consulting, be sure to check the links in my bio for how to get that as well. And I'll see you next time.